Recording has been started. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in this workshop for the FIICA project. FIICA, you're seeing the title screen. And just briefly, it's about friendly, interactive, informal cloud alternative. What is this? It's all about social virtual reality. So think of games like these morphs, massive online role-playing games, these video games. We're doing something likewise, but then without the game. So only the virtual reality applied for social activities, virtual social activities. Meanwhile, while I'm presenting, if one of my colleagues could look at the at who is coming still in and allow them in case I miss this. So what we're doing right now is prepare for the student mobility in Malaga, which is going to happen between 7th and 14th of May. We call it internally LTTA2. It's learning, teaching, and training activity number 2. Do remember this is co-funded by the European Union. A brief schedule. So we do an introduction, the first steps in Hubs. Hubs is the platform for social virtual reality, which we are going to use. I'm going to invite you into a Hubs room and have you play with it. And we'll see how that goes. We'll talk about some tricks and tips for 15 minutes. Have the homework cleared out, so you all know what to do in the meantime before the LTTA2, and then we'll have a small slot on questions. So we're first at the introduction. Again, I note if you don't want your face and audio recorded, then mute your mic and disable your camera. Please keep questions until the end, or if it's something urgently, like during the playtime, we'll probably, let's say, have some common audio channel where we can chat with each other. We'll see how that goes. I first mentioned this website, sites.google.com/view/FIICA. Note that FIICA is written with 2 I's, and that's your primary source for information. So whenever something is not being addressed during this presentation, you might still go to this website. So that's the same website where you found the link. This website. That's the same website that you used to find the link to this webinar. And on that website, it's an internal website, you can find all kinds of information, like the information for this workshop, the link to the meeting, but also the link to the Hack Week Avatar Maker, and as well the link to the Gathering Hall lightweight version. And also the slides that I'm using right now, they're visible here as well. So if for some reason you can't follow the Teams meeting, or when I'm sharing a screen that is not the slides, you can still have the slides somewhere on your screen if you wish. And what I mentioned is it's your primary source for information. That means you can find a lot of things, like on this page, resources. It's called resources. You can find links there. Some of them are, let's say, not very useful, but some of them are useful, like this one. It says controls. So whenever when you go to a Hubs room and you note that you have issues with controls, with how to navigate or how to grab things or move things around, you can look at this page, and it tries to explain how to do the things with a touch screen and with keyboard and mouse control. I'm always using this one, so that's what I fluently am using. But in case you are only working with a touch screen, so these are these are the instructions to move around, to navigate your avatar, and so on and so on. So, okay. Let me rapidly show you one of our rooms. So this is the room that I have been linking through. You can go to this room. I'm going to slightly explain you a little bit about what is to be seen in this room and how you can use it. So you note that I'm moving around and looking around. When you look into the sky, you will see a white dot flying in the sky in the middle of the screen. So what I'm doing is I'm just moving my mouse, and as a result, you can see this dot. It's kind of a selector. So whenever I press the left key of my mouse, that dot drags the scene around. So when I move my mouse to the left or to the right whilst pressing the left mouse key, the scene rotates around me. See what I can do with that? Now, besides my left hand holding the left key of my mouse, I can also use my right hand and use the cursor keys. The cursor keys are the 4 arrows that are on the right of your keyboard, and with those arrows you can navigate. You can walk forward, left, right, and backward. If you combine the movements, then you have this kind of fluent sliding across the floor. See how I navigate fluently over the floor. If you're new to this, don't worry. Most of the students, when I show this, when I demonstrate this in the classroom, most students rapidly grab what is going on and fill it out. Now, what I want to show you is there are more things to that. So look over here, over the tree here. I can press the space bar. When I do press the space bar, you see these small icons appearing next to the tree on the left side and on the right side of the tree. And if I point my selector on one of these icons, you can see this avatar. It's the ghost avatar. And now when I press on that, see, my avatar jumps into that position. I'm actually sitting at the bench right now. See, these are the other avatars. You can see them. Also in this room, there is this block, this cube that is floating in the air. And this cube, you can walk around it. And this cube carries links to 4 other rooms. So, of course, this image looks like this hall. Indeed, this is the link to this room. So I can't use this one, that one. But I can use the other trees, like this room with the purple tree. See, if I move my selector on top of that image, I'll get this button, visit room. If I click that button, I will jump to that room. So I'll jump to a different URL and I'll end up in a different room. You will be able to use that. I will give all of the teams a ring of rooms, and all those rooms will be like these rooms. But more about that later on. What else is there? Well, it's fun to have an avatar. So here you can see the instructions on how to build an avatar. If you feel like you can't read this, don't worry. You can press the space bar, and then you have the magnifying glass. If you click on the magnifying glass, you can hold the image like that, and you can click it away. If you press the space bar and you opt for open link, then you go to the image as such, and you can zoom it out, you can download it, you can do whatever with it. At this moment, we're not yet in play, but in play I will give you some time to build an avatar if you like to. you notice that when I press the space bar, there is more to see. For you, it might be so that you don't see everything, but I am able to take the image away. See, I'm now carrying the image. I'm leaving it hanging in the air. I took it away outside of the frame. So this wide thingy on the wall is actually a media frame. And I can drag the image. So whenever I point my selector on the image and I press the space bar, see the image then starts to glow in blue, and I can grab it with the left mouse key and I can drag it around. So now I can loosen the space bar, and I can use my both hands to navigate and to move the image into the media frame and let it go. As long as the media frame has the blue selector, the media frame is active, I can drop the image and I can pin it or unpin it. To unpin and pin, that means that if you pin an object, the object stays in the room, even if you as an avatar leave the room. So whenever you bring in objects into a room and you don't pin them, they'll disappear as soon as you disappear. Notice that on the back of this room, there is a large media frame. And in that large media frame, I've hung up the presentation. So I can navigate through this navigation as well, through this presentation as well. So we're at this slide. Okay. Those were already some kinds of functionalities. Now, if you care to look at the toolbar on the bottom, you have these buttons. You have these 5 buttons in the middle. The left one is about the audio settings. I can mute my voice in the room. I can share objects like a camera and a screen. Please try them out. It's kind of fun to work with the camera and the screen. Also, there is a button place. Whenever you place, you've got other functionalities like you can draw. If you press pen, you have some kind of a laser pointer, but you can also use it as a pen and draw. You can place a camera. With the camera, you can take small snaps of video or pictures. You can make selfies. You can share, of course, objects like 3D objects or GIFs or other images. You can even share PDF files like I did with the presentation. And you can also link through avatars and scenes, but let's say that's something that you can experiment later on. You can also react. When you react, you actually generate objects into the room. So this is something that you can do. And there is a chat bar. If you click on chat, then on the right, a chat bar will open, and the chat bar will report on what is going on in the room, and you can actually say hello everybody. Now, if I just press enter, or I press this arrow, then this message will appear in the chat. But I can also click on this wizarding wand here on the right bottom. If I do that, an object will be created, a text balloon. See, in the middle of the room, there is now this text balloon, and I can grab this text balloon with the selector. See, I'm dragging the text balloon, and I can drop it in a media frame, like so. Or I can take it away, and I can throw it into the air, like this. See, there is my text balloon. And there is some kind of gravity, so it falls down over there on the floor. So there it is. That's my text balloon. It fell on the floor. See, leave it there. It will disappear as soon as I go away. Or I can actually take it up, pick it up, and I can press the space bar and rotate it. See, now it's back there. I can rotate it. You have to experiment with how the rotation works for you best way. And I can also use the arrows to enlarge it, so make it a really big. Let's see. Get up. So there it is, hanging in the air. And I can try to rotate some more. Voila. Now, if you come into the room, and I've seen some of you have already entered the room. I see 3 people entering the room. You have more buttons on the right in the toolbar. So leave, that is just you leave the room, but clicking on more, you get more options. So you don't see all these options because you don't have control over this room, but you do have this button, change name and avatar. So if you click change name and avatar, you can change your name, the display name, and for all kinds of reasons, it's wiser to use your own name and not some kind of nickname. Just use your own name, and you can change avatar. So if you use the Hack Week avatar maker, you can create an avatar, and if you like, I can show you. It depends on the time we have, and you can upload your own avatar. Looking at the time, Daniel, I think I'm way past my 15 minutes. So I think I'll leave and give the floor to you. Let's see where we are on the slides. So I've talked about this basic functions. I haven't talked about the avatar making in detail, but we can do that later, or it's quite simple. You can do that on your own. And I think we can move to this part, tricks and tips, or do we still take some time, like 10 minutes for everybody to go inside the room and experiment? What?
We can let them some minutes to explore the room and then come back and I will say my things.
Okay. So whoever is ready to join me in the room, click on the link that I shared in the chat. If you go to the chat, you will see that I have shared a link right now, a link to the room. Of course, you can find the room also on the website, the sites of Google Sites, and join me into this room. If you like to see your avatar, well, for example, this rosy billet is in front of me, and it's just the standard, the default avatar. It appears that already 11 people are there. If you go into the hall and you go to the left side, so towards the aquarium, there is an aquarium, but before the aquarium, there is also this mirror. See, you can see yourself in this mirror. Of course, most of you will have the default avatar, but we can change that rapidly. If you go inside, just try to, I will mute myself in the room because I'm hearing an echo. Hi, Rosie Billet. Try to change your name, Rosie Billet. And Kaya is there. Hi, Kaya. Joran, of course. Joran is a fluent user. Jury. Ah, Jury. Go ahead, look around. Maybe go upstairs. There's a whole gallery upstairs. While you are playing in Hubs, I can rapidly show you how to create an avatar. So there is this link I shared with the Hack Week Avatar Maker. And if you go to there, you have on the left side a list of items that you can change. And on the right side, you can see the result. So for instance, this is a person with a nice gilet and a beard, but I can randomize the avatar and I'll get something different. So using the items on the left and changing them, you can create your own avatar. If you're done with that, you click on the button in the toolbar on the bottom or right, and the button is called Export Avatar. When you do that, you will download a .glb file. The .glb file, let's show you. So it's called Custom Avatar. Now, if you have a custom avatar, you can go into Hubs, click on More, click on Change Name and Avatar, change avatar, go to plus Create Avatar, click on Custom GLB, and then select the file that you just downloaded. I have to find it here. Custom avatar, open and save. So now this avatar is being uploaded into the room. Takes a little while. And it's ready. So I can now select that avatar, click on accept, and I can check while going towards the mirror. Voila, you see now this weird avatar. It's kind of simple, right? Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Okay. I think, Daniel, that's enough for play time, right? Shall I go back to the slides?
Okay, cool.
So all of you, you can keep playing in Hubs if you like, but then you have the link, so play after this presentation. For now, we're going back to the slides and we're at this slide. So Daniel, you just instruct me where to go.
Perfect. Yeah, I will tell you. You are in control of the slides then.
Yeah.
So, hello everyone again. I'm Daniel, and I'm going to explain you just some tricks related with how to improve the building of spaces of this kind of virtual environments. Because it's not about only just putting pictures or putting inside any kind of element you can imagine, but putting them in a proper way so visitors will experience in the way you want. So this is related with something that I call design thinking. It's not my term, is something very famous, but I want to explain first what design thinking is a bit, and then what is virtual mediation, okay? And then just some examples of how to create a good space in this platform. So go ahead. Design thinking or design in general means that when we are creating any kind of product, service, interface, whatever you can think of, these things are not just created from scratch without any kind of plan or idea or draft blueprint or anything. Everything that comes to life are first designed in a way that people building it have to follow a plan. So when we are creating these experiences and these virtual environments, we have also to design first what we want to achieve with the space. For example, when we create, well, go ahead with the next slide, please. For example, when we are creating a virtual interface, it's not just, again, about placing some button here or some header or text or picture or all the visual elements together, but also to think about how we can improve the usability of the website or the app or whatever for these users that are going to use it in the end. So, for example, when we are talking about user experience, is the field or the work related with create a proper experience when we interact with an interface or with a screen or with a virtual space, in terms of these people knowing exactly what to do every time. And it's not easy because maybe you create a website and you think that people are going to click that big blue button in the middle of the screen, but they don't, and you don't know why. So you have to design this and you have to investigate how to obtain the best results for your personal objectives. So when we are, again, creating these virtual environments, it's not just about placing things together, but also about the look and feel, the aesthetics, and the visuals that you are going to recreate within the space. And therefore, you will create a usability for these users when they are just walking around the spaces. I'm not going to explain this scheme with a lot of details because you will have the opportunity in LTTA2 to work with this methodology. But I just wanted to point out here that when we are uh, using this methodology of design thinking, we are going into different stages. Some of them are divergence and some of them are convergence in terms of sometimes we have to open our mind and think about all the possibilities that we have, and other times we have to decide and choose which is the best option that we want to build in this case. So, for example, just to follow these four stages, it's good in the beginning, in the first stage, to think not only about the product or the virtual space that we want to build, but about the users that are going to visit it. So, for example, there is a stage that it's called empathize, because we are going to think if this user knows how to use a computer even, or a browser or a video game, or if they are used to navigate through this kind of space or environments, or what kind of needs or interests, desires, or whatever we can think about this user, so we can prepare ourselves for designing for a space that may fit this profile that we are creating and that we are writing in the beginning. And when we are decided what are the main problems that we can find in this user, then we will choose one or two or three, but not a lot of problems, specific problems or situations or issues or desires that we identify, and we are going to address those problems through the space. For example, maybe they have a very specific interest about, I don't know, any topic that we can think of, sports or leisure or education or culture or whatever, and we are going to design everything that is in the space related with that specific problem. So we have to generate a lot of ideas and then narrow down the string of ideas to select the best ones and to finally build them into the space. So it's something that is very abstract, I know, right now, but we are going to work on this during our travel in Malaga. And the other concept I wanted to present, to introduce to you, is virtual mediation. And when we are talking about mediation, maybe we are thinking about a museum. This is a term very related with cultural institutions. And mediator is the person that is there in the rooms of the museum, and they provide help to you when you need anything related with that exhibition or with that collection in the museum. So, for example, they are there to guide you when you need to do a tour through the rooms of the museum and explain the paintings or whatever. They also may solve some questions that you may have, and not only questions that you explicitly do, but sometimes they organize different kind of activities, or maybe they tell you some secrets or additional information related with a painting. So they are there with the objective of people knowing more about the exhibition, and getting the most of the collection that they are visiting. So it's not just something passive about walking around, but also about knowing and learning, and being part of that museum. So in the next slide, when we are talking about virtual mediation, we have to think that we are these kind of mediators inside our space. So, for example, when we are there with our visitors, and we are having the same time and the same space with them in the virtual world, maybe we have to start with the assumption that they don't know what to do. Maybe for you it's very obvious, or it's evident, because you have designed the space and you think that people are going to follow the line, and follow the path that you have designed. But maybe they surprise you in terms of getting lost in the space, not knowing how to work, how to use the functionalities. Maybe they start creating noise, or there might happen a lot of things within a space. So you have to have in mind that first of all, you should provide some rules, or some indications, some instructions, so people don't get lost. And also, if they are okay, if they have learned how to move and how to use properly the space, maybe if they see a painting or a picture or an audio file, a PDF, or whatever you place in the space, maybe you have to provide further information. Maybe placing some panel, or some poster with indications, or related with that picture, or with some further explanation, or whatever. But so they understand what is the logic behind the exhibition that they are visiting, and not just watching a lot of pictures one after other, and not knowing the theme, or the purpose. So you also have to explain what is the collection, or the experience that you are designing. And finally, when you are in the space, and sorry, when no, the other one, when you are in the space together with these people, also you have the possibility to ask questions, just to say things, to facilitate that people are engaged with the experience, and to maybe make them participate of this. So the bottom line here is just that they should feel that they are together, as if they were in a physical space, and that they can do different things, and they can collaborate within the space. So this is something important to have in mind when we are visiting these spaces. Okay, and just to show some examples of different rooms, one of the things that maybe we need to think in the beginning is the feeling, as I said before, that we want to provide with the room. And with feeling, I mean that it's different when we are creating, for example, or we are not just creating, but choosing, because sometimes we are using templates. But if we choose a template, for example, like the right one, it's like a physical room, a physical classroom, very classic and very realistic, let's say. So you are going to transmit something serious, or more aseptic, or not so informal, because it's just something very some kind of boring, if I can say, because if you're creating something in the virtual world, it's also cool to have like fantastic elements sometimes. But you can also you have the possibility also to create something that not only imitates the real world, but it's scanning the real world, like in the left example. And this is a room that you can scan with photogrammetry, it's called like that. and you will see something very related with the real world or with a real room or real space. But you will see that the resolution is not so good, and it's a kind of broken with this polygon structure. So you can also choose cartoonist rooms or very complex rooms, or if you want people to walk, maybe you can create like a maze, or you can create something very easy with a wide room. Depending on the architecture that you choose, the visitors will have different kind of experiences. So you have to take this into account as well. And for example, other thing to have in mind when you have chosen the room, you will have to choose and design again the path that they will walk, because something that sometimes happens is that maybe you know where to start because you are just dropped into the space like Hiram has shown in those spots. But then it's good also to design how they will have to end the experience and how they will have to leave the space, because you don't want people to leave in the middle of the exhibition. You want them to leave in the proper moment. So maybe you have to design like a route, like a walk, and when they are over of this experience and they have done everything that you want to, they will have just like maybe an indication of, hey, the experience is over, like an exit panel in a physical museum. So this is something also to have into account, and the things that you want them to do in the different milestones of this visit. Other ideas is to gamify the experience. With gamification, I mean to introduce different challenges or maybe games or whatever you can imagine with the functionalities that you have. For example, this is something that we created some years ago, that it's a collection of badges related with different goals in the space. Like if you talk with different people, then you will get this badge. Or if you come in different times, you will get this other one. Or you can also create a game inside, or it's something very creative. And as we have limitations with the platforms, it's good to use the imagination to create different gamifying experiences. And finally, there is also the possibility to combine these virtual worlds with other tools. For example, when we are placing inside different pictures or PDFs or 3D models, we can also create them with AI, for example, with artificial intelligence, because there are some platforms or some tools that allows you to create a 3D model and you can place it inside, or maybe with the pictures, we can create like an exhibition to decorate the space. There are a lot of possibilities, and we have also even the option of made like this broadcasting in the left screenshot. That it's when you are something very similar to the Hiram's experience before. You can go into a space and record it while you are broadcasting in YouTube, for example, or in a social network. So it's like something live, and you can ask questions to people like a journalist, and combine different tools in the way that you think that will provide the best experience for these users again. And just to sum up, my last words are that always these tools, these platforms, this virtual technology is always a means and not the end. Because when we were using the technology as an end, we are just placing things and creating things and use them in a crazy way without having some notions of our structure that provide a good experience. So first, we need to define what are our personal and or group or team objectives and how we can turn them into reality. So I think this is something very important, and we will work on this during LTTA2. So thank you, and we will see you in Malaga.
Jose, before I talk about the homework, will you introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can highlight you.
There you go. Can everybody see me? Maybe some thumbs up there. Yes. So first and foremost, thank you so much for being here today. Um, and taking the time to come learn about social virtual reality. So you've already met Hiram and Danny, and they're the experts, the go-to guys, the amazing duo when it comes to the technology. My name is Jose Imbert, and I am the Spanish partner. So what we will be doing together during the event, we will be doing communications and trying to, do some cool things when it comes to, promoting the project and showcasing not the work that we're doing, but the work that you guys are actually doing. So I'm really looking forward to being there with you. The whole team for the project will be there. I know that right now things can look a little bit overwhelming, maybe for some of you. But I do hope that we've been able to at least pique your interest. And I do promise you that during the LTTA, all of this will make sense, all of this will connect, and we will be there guiding you every step of the day and every step of the way, and just helping you have a really cool experience with virtual reality and getting into the groove of that. So thank you, Hiram, for the space and for letting me present myself today.
You're welcome. Thank you, Jose. So homework. Homework exists of two parts. First, create an institutional room. Second, create scenarios. First, create an institutional room. For that, you'll receive a link to a room. I will prepare a room for you with a scene. It's the white scene you can see on the right, and you can decorate this room with institutional visuals. So the brief demonstration I showed you on how to bring in images and objects, you can use that in this room. You can do whatever with it. If some of the students involved in that are kind of experienced, we can make it even more customized if you like. But for now, it's okay just to work with this white scene. Secondly, you will create scenarios on virtual social learning activities. For that, you can find instructions on the Google site, instructions on what are scenarios and what is important, what are the 5 steps within scenarios. And there will also be an instructional video on scenarios applied for learning virtual social learning activities. You'll also get a ring of 4 rooms as a means to practice hubs. When I mention practice hubs, it means since this is a social virtual reality, it is increasingly important that you actually use that space, that virtual reality, to navigate an avatar and talk with each other through this platform. So go online with your colleagues or with your friends and spend some time in hubs, visiting the ring of rooms with the 4 different scenes, exploring the features that you have. While doing that, you will get a better idea what kind of virtual social learning activities you actually can organize within hubs. Okay, that's left us to the last part of this presentation. So thanks for being there.